every pony. I am Venomous Pie. You guys know me full well as the Pinkie Pie of the group, and oh, I cannot wait to go further into this episode. I've held it back for so long, and now finally got a chance to talk about it. So, welcome to another episode of Bronimaniacs Discuss. I have with me here today, Rarity, Jedi Penguin Danielle.
Best episode ever! This is the perfect episode!
We have our Rainbow Dash, which is Kanata.
Canada.
Strawberries over apples and pears.
What? Really? Traitor.
I see what you did there. We have our Trixie, which is David Stapleford.
Hello, everybody, once again.
We have our Spike, which is Elite Yoshi.
Oh, yes. I have been waiting for this episode for some time.
We all have.
Yeah.
We have our Starlight Glimmer, which is Dion Blade.
Heyo everyone, and wow, that episode was definitely something.
Indeed.
The feel.
It really was. It really was.
We have our Sunset Shimmer, which is Crimson Star Bright.
Hello, everybody.
We have our Twilight, which is Sharp Wet.
Well played, MLP, well played. You gave us better episode than the real problem. And yes, I am crying, don't judge me!
Oh, trust me, you weren't the only one.
Here, have a tissue.
Thanks.
We have our Derpy Hooves, which is Endless Nonsense.
Who put these stupid onions here?
No, that's not the onions, that's the mainly tears.
I understood that reference. We have ourselves two special guests here today. We covered them in our previous episode, and now they're coming back for one more round. So please welcome, first off, Roger Star, aka the Max Dragon.
Hello, everyone. I'd just like to announce that freedom of speech is very wonderful, and torches and pitchforks should be put to the side.
Oh.
Okay.
Jumping the gun a bit early, aren't you?
Yeah, I have a feeling that the opinions are going to be pretty unanimous with this review.
Yeah, I get the good feeling. And our other special guest will be my good friend, Little Looney.
Hello, everyone. Might better get some tissues ready, because this is a tearjerker.
Yeah, so the episode we'll be talking about today will be The Perfect Pair. An episode that I want to talk about for a long time.
Now I can finally do it!
Yes! So, let's see. You know the full deal. We go in a random order for what we do like about the episode. Then we would go in reverse order for what we don't like. Then we would give our final thoughts. So, first up will be Little Looney.
Oh, me?
Yep.
Well, let's see here. What's my positive for this episode? Where do I even begin? It's a better love story than Twilight.
I was wondering if someone's gonna use that joke.
Okay, yeah, seriously, yeah. I normally don't really like it when shows do romance stories because it never really feels natural. It always feels off to me. But this episode hits every mark correctly with the love story of Bite Mac and Pear Butter. Everything in this episode either warms my heart to the fullest or made me shed tears.
Yeah.
Showing how they grew up and gradually fell for each other over time. I mean, all the cute little moments like when they met at the fence or sneezing flowers into each other's faces, just so adorable. And not to mention the song in the episode, which is just so beautifully sung. And just try not to cry right now thinking about it.
Anything else, Looney? Or you want to pass it off to someone?
I really love this episode.
I'll give you a box of tissues.
You're not alone on this.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
So, who do you pass it off to, Tony?
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Alright.
I'll pass it off to.
Can I?
Shopwit.
Thank you! Because I really have a problem with this episode. How to pick one of the best, one positive for it. Dang it! I need to figure out how to cheat the system. But I will still probably in the positive of many of us. I really like William Shatner's performance in this episode because him as a grandparent. I really felt like he's this. I really felt that guy. I really felt he sounds so natural for me. He really sounds like he's regretting his biggest mistake of letting her daughter behind in Ponyville with the apples.
Oh, yeah.
Because of this
Okay.
beard.
Actually,
The
I
way
think people.
I haven't finished. The way he was speaking, the tone of his voice, that alone was already bringing tears to my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, William Shatner did a really good performance in this. I mean,
He nailed this role completely.
yeah,
Definitely.
He really did.
Don't forget Felicia Day.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, anything else, Shufflet?
No, because I can only go with one positive, and this episode has many positives.
Okay.
So, I should pass it off to... Neon, it's not you.
And even that I could see coming.
Still, people have a laugh. Let's see.
You are not pulling and you will never be able to pull off a Persona 5 reference on me, my friends. Just saying.
I have no idea what you are talking about.
And you call yourself a gamer. I pity you.
I don't own the console,
Well,
mate.
he does have a sharp wit about him.
Alright, can we get back on topic here?
Yeah, let's get back.
Wow, shots fired.
Okay, anyway, I pass it off to... maybe let's go with Daniel.
Alright, Daniel.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the sound of that door barking. What did you say?
You're up next, Daniel.
I am?
Yep. One thing, buddy.
Oh. Damn it. This is tough.
It's hard to choose.
This is tough. It was definitely the feels of this episode.
Yeah.
It just, like, this episode could really get to you on an emotional level. I just couldn't help but cry during the entire episode. From where we start learning a bit about the Apple parents from the beginning to end, like even though we still don't know what happened, I'm like, just the feels from this episode, and hearing their love story just really got to me, on an emotional level. Like, this episode was just simply beautiful. Or like, best episode of MLP by far, in my opinion. Like Bake said, all the feels. This episode is definitely gonna be the most memorable one in the series.
So, who do you pass
It
it off
really is a
to?
perfect episode.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Daniel, can I go next on this one?
You want to go next on this one?
Yeah. Because it actually does link to what you said.
Okay. I go with Venomous Pinkie Pie.
Nice. Okay. Okay. First off, I'll get off of what you said. When you said that you don't really know what happened to the parents, actually, that does lead to my positive. The subtlety of it. Like, I mean, okay, we were all exactly wondering what actually happened to AJ's parents. But
Mhm.
I'm thinking this episode is very subtly telling us that they're pretty much dead. Like
Mm,
you can really tell that that's the case because like for example when the Apple family were interacting with Burnt Oak, or as I like to call Sam Elliott Pony, um you can really tell
the
what
Great
actually happened
Wonderboo.
because when Big Macintosh asked Burnt Oak if it's okay if they come back sometime to hear more stories. If you pay very close attention to the dialogue, the way it was told, and the action, he
Mhm.
he had a smile on his face. He said, "I like that very much"
Uh,
in a very
uh,
condescending way. And if you look close,
uh,
and if you look closely, he had tears in his eyes.
uh,
That that
True.
that kind of
there's still a lot of
if
split on it.
if you don't mind, I'm not finished. And also I think one of the biggest clues is towards the ending of the episode when Apple Bloom, um, after Grandpa and Granny Smith made amends, um, Apple Bloom stayed because they wanted to show them the trees. She said, and I quote, Mom and Dad left us something to remember them by." Isn't that usually what's said about like to remember them by, as in like a dead relative or friend?
Mm, no, half of
That's
the
that's
time.
that's actually debatable.
Debate 100% debatable. Like this,
Sometimes.
yeah,
Go on.
like it's still debatable if they're dead or not. It's like they don't even say it, to be fair, when you think about it.
And
It,
they
it,
were
kind of,
I
saying,
know, I
it's
know.
kind of like it's kind of like the whole Scooter being an orphan thing, you know?
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
it's
we're just
heavily implied, but it's never like that like said.
Even though it's
no, but like it's just in the way when you're trying to say someone's gone, you kind of want to make sure you actually say it.
What?
here's the thing. This kind of has been foreshadowed before.
Well, no, like to be fair, I'm still very indifferent on it, to be fair. Like not believing it because here's the thing, those things that you mentioned about the crying and the trees, they can all mean anything. I know. I've seen that experience before.
Hmm, I see
well,
what you mean. I
For
saw
me,
Mm.
I still under the inclination that the dead were basically, well, this episode kind of subtly hints that, but
Yes, but then there's this
I get what you're saying about how it's debatable and everything. But here's the catch. This has been referenced before. Y'all remember the shooting stars in Apple Family Reunion?
mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm.
Venom, as much as this is a debatable sign, in this episode, I will have to agree. I'm not a fan of the theory that the Apple parents are dead, but the implications are subtle but very strong in this episode.
don't forget, and let's not forget in the fold of a cutie mark what Applejack said when Apple Bloom got a cutie mark.
Yeah, that's another hint.
That's another. Yep.
There
but
being,
there's one big argument.
I
There's
know,
one big thing right there.
I know that can mean anything.
Yeah, but no, there's also another thing. If Granny Smith and Pear can live as old as they did, why can't their kids? Like, that's a big right there. Like, no, that can't be true.
It's
Well, it
really,
might not be from age. It might be from some other thing that happened.
Yeah.
But they don't even.
that's what I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. It's just because I think I have a problem that this show really likes to sugarcoat death. Like they don't even use the word. They don't even use the PA word for one thing.
Hmm.
Like that's the problem I have. And it's like you might think, "Oh, well, it's a kids show. We don't have to use that word."
Disney made
Disney.
an entire franchise because of that.
Yes, Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon have all done it. They've all done it at some points and using that word, and they have no shame of it. And somehow this show can't say it. and the same age audience is watching it.
I see what you
Like-
mean, and that kind of frustrates me a little bit. But I do like.
They'd rather use the term "took out."
But like I said, I do like how it's basically.
Why don't you just, you know what? Why don't you just say that they went to another dimension? Let's just say that.
No, so then you're blaming discourse.
No, no one knows the
Finding
term.
Edward store.
Like,
What?
no. Anyone's ever heard of the use of the words of going to send you to another dimension?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
No, and also the early translation of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I knew what you were
like
talking
why don't
about.
yeah, that's kind of the implication I'm getting out of this. Heck, there's even a fan comic that makes fun of this, and yeah, it's true. They don't use the word, they don't say the word, so guess what? I'm not believing you.
You know, it's funny because in Philadelphia, someone brought up heaven. So I just find it funny how they have no problem bringing up something like heaven, but not death yet.
Oh yeah, that's true. They did bring it up, and also that point between just to remember them by. Oh yeah, because I don't keep photos of my distant cousins or relatives far away just to remember them by with their photos. Oh yeah, I don't keep them at all. I just think that they're dead. That's why I keep them.
Yeah, but that could actually go because of the whole feuds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, they don't even make up anything like, oh, did they die of a disease? Was it an accident? And to be fair, and here's the thing, to be fair, I don't think it would even be an accident. Aren't they supposed to be like super strong? I mean, Applejack and Big Mac.
That doesn't mean that they're immortal, though. That doesn't mean that they are immortal.
Well, no,
strong, but
we've seen Applejack like lift rocks, Big Mac doing really heavy things, even driving a house. Like, oh yeah, they're not tough. Like that's kind of my thing. Like I'm not saying they have to be immortal, but obviously it would be hard to believe that they got into an accident unless it's like a train or something. But they don't even say nothing.
Well, maybe because we don't know the entire picture yet, and I don't know if we ever will. Hasbro can read this a mystery this whole time and not say a single word, or they could do a second episode 2 to 3 seasons down the road and kind of like give us more of a story as to whatever happened to them.
My friend actually made my friend made a opinion on this. He says that maybe they'll have a later episode where Pear is back in the family again, and this time he's gonna see if he could do something and trying to get some remorse with her daughter, in some way forgive her in the proper way. And I think that could actually work.
I think that would work.
Yeah, that would work as an episode as long as William Shatner said he would love to do another episode again.
All the guest stars say that and they've never brought them back.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, Weird Al said that he's hinted that he's probably coming back as Mr. Cheese Sandwich.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I hope so
I would
too.
love to see
That would be awesome.
Anyways,
He said he has hinted it before. There's this one where, so who wants to see me and Pinkie Pie get together? I remember seeing that.
I remember that. Anyways,
I ship it.
Anyways, we're getting off topic.
I ship it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're getting off topic here. I can understand that this whole thing is still up for debate. I can understand that. But, I don't know, the subtlety is really in there. I mean, they might not say it directly, but it's a pretty strong indication of the faith, pretty much.
I'm leaning towards them being dead, even though that they haven't clearly said it. But I'm not 100% convinced. That's what I'm leaning towards. But I'm not convinced.
Sure.
Hey Arnold, hey Arnold, hey Arnold, hey Arnold.
Which is coming back. I can't wait.
Yeah, but only as a movie.
I know, but still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that movie.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Comes out this year.
So, alright, who did I pass it off to? I'm gonna have to go with. Hold on. Endless.
Oh man, okay. What is something that hasn't already been said?
At least you're one of the first ones to go.
Well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be something new. It can be. It can. You can like take someone else's that someone already said and go into further detail on it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm glad we got to know more about AJ's parents,
Yes.
like how they grew up, their personalities, all of that.
Yeah, they really knocked it out of the ballpark with the parents. Pear, Butter, and Bright Mac.
Eat your heart out, headcanons.
Anything else in this?
And no, I just thought they were cute.
Agreed. So, who do you pass it off to?
Did Neon already go?
No.
Nope, I haven't.
I don't think
Alright,
so.
Neon.
Alright. Well, I guess I have to go with the same as Venom. Just the subtlety of the episode itself. The way how they handled this whole topic. Because, let's face it, this was one of the biggest points in all of MLP so far. Together with the handling of an Celestia episode and all those big points. And let's face it, I can't actually think of anything how they could handle this better than they did in this episode. Both from an emotional level and from one which doesn't break up in one way or another, which would upset the fandom. And to be honest, I'm actually one of those who think that the parents haven't died, or at least not both of them, because if we really go with if we keep in consideration that this whole feud has going on with the whole family on both sides, I'm not even sure if Applejack's parents would have been even feel comfortable living in Ponyville longer than this if they don't know how that would affect their name. And
I just thought of something.
What?
And
let's say that they know that one of them or both of them is alive. How come they haven't tried to go out and try to find them or get in contact with them or anything?
I'm still giving my Hey Arnold theory. It's like,
well, how would you react when you see one of your parents for the very first time when you have no absolute evidence of that whatsoever? Especially if your grandma or one of your grandparents.
But doesn't Granny Smith know about all this and everything?
Yeah, but she keep that as a secret because she didn't know when there was the right time.
Exactly.
True.
I mean, think about it. Even Mayor was into that.
Yeah.
The mayor of the town.
Yeah.
and she had pink hair.
Continuity.
Yeah, but think about it. That's a whole other level. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pears and the Apples would be one of the biggest families in terms of industry as well. I'm not speculating of some industrial sabotage thing or something like that. Hell no, that's not what I mean. It's just a dispute of this level. Heck, that's almost as bad as if it would be in royalty.
I really hope they do another episode to cover more stuff about this because there's still a lot of unanswered questions that we would like answered, but I don't know for sure if Hasbro is willing to give us those answers or not.
Right.
Like I
They'll
said,
give
that
us
is
answers, I guess.
that is like I said, that is the crucial part, which I'm happy about that they didn't tackle this right from the get-go.
Right, that's true.
Because this episode has set the tone for it. If they would have gone all out right from the start, the foundation would have been way too unstable for it. Because everyone who would have made the same questions as you guys did right now.
Hmm.
And if it wouldn't go for most of the people's way, it would have been catastrophic.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, to be fair, I think that this whole episode was pretty much a big risk because, this was a pretty serious topic that they were dealing with. So,
Mm,
Yeah.
you gotta be the utmost careful when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. Otherwise, it'll backfire on you completely.
Exactly.
So, I think they
Yeah.
played it safe, and I think they did the right thing by doing that.
That's absolutely true.
I have confidence in Hasbro when it came to doing this beforehand. Like, if someone told me a year ago that they were going to do this kind of episode, I would have had complete faith in them.
Yeah. But you want to know another company that I had faith in, but they kind of let me down?
What?
Who's that?
Disney. They're the kings of faking of deaths in their movies, and yet they always try to gloss it over with some kind of cutesy image right after the death happens.
True.
Whoa,
And that's
remember.
that's
Remember
actually the
Bambi?
reason. Yeah, that's actually the reason why I'm so glad that Hasbro and the show stuff has keep it this way as right now. Because if they would have gone this mile, they would have changed the entire tone of the show itself.
It would have.
And if they would have actually pulled off something like that, it would have been a bad aftertaste for the episode, for the series itself.
Yeah.
If they would have gone the Disney way, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree.
But it peeved off the fans.
I just hope fans don't get mad if they don't do a second episode about this. I just hope fans don't get mad.
Fans are going to get mad. I've already confirmed that.
I mean, go on.
The fans get mad anyway.
Like, they get fan over the simplest things in the world. Haven't we just already realized that? These fans get upset for, like, the simplest thing. Wings! Relationships!
Equestria goals!
Character.
Yeah.
Lori Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Lori Hart.
I've heard. Go on.
You first.
I was going to say, back when Equestria Ghosts, before even Equestria Ghosts came out, I've read, like, I don't remember who said it, but I read, like, a post saying that Equestria Ghosts was going to be the end of My Little Pony before the movie even came out.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing people call it the franchise killer.
Yeah, jump in the shark moment.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
anyway.
Honestly, if they don't do a second episode, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but
let's say it like this. This episode gave me confidence to be somewhat excited for a second episode if they are willing to do it.
Yeah.
True.
Well, they've already confirmed on an 8th and 9th season, so yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's the best term to say it, because in the end it's still the decision of the show stuff as well when they're writing the stories.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Hasbro.
as well. And if they keep the tone like this, I'm pretty sure we will able to get something like a second episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, who should go next?
Hey, before we continue, can I give a shout out to someone in the chat?
Sure, go ahead.
Thanks for tuning in, Bonnie Later. It's nice to see you here.
Alright, let's see. Since Sven apparently has gone doing something, I guess I'm give it pass to Crimson. Did you had your turn already?
Hmm?
Did you had your turn already?
No?
Okay, then take over, my friend.
Let's see. For my positive, well, I kind of liked how love at first sight happened on that episode.
Ugh.
I usually hate that trope.
The trope sucks.
I don't mind it personally. It's a little too cliche, but it doesn't bother me that much.
Well, it shows how much the two of them cared for each other, even though they're from the different families. Which I'm kind of like happy about, because, well, for one thing, I wish Grandpa Pear would have been a lot more reasonable instead of quick to judge.
That's a split opinion, to be fair.
Yeah, I actually kind of go to that in my bad point as well. I'm going back to that later.
We'll get to that later.
Was there no reason? Did they even give apples?
Wait, what?
Did they even give a reason why the pears in the apple?
No, I think that was the point. That this feud that lasted so long, they probably don't even remember what the feud was about.
No. They knew what was it about. It was the competition itself, like being the better farmer, being the better one. First it was a personal problem, then it turned it out into a complete family feud.
Yeah, that works too.
And sadly, this relationship was literally the one drop water too much, so to speak.
Drat.
Anyway, Crimson, are you got anything more to say?
And that's all I got.
Okay, so who do you pass it off to?
Who hasn't gone yet?
I know I haven't.
Let's see.
Fritzy Sparkle, have you gone?
No, I haven't went yet.
I'll pass it to Trixie then.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about positives.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm just blown away by this episode. It was so cute. I mean, I'm just at a loss for words. I mean, have I ever seen such a romantic episode? Not in MLP, not like this.
Well, not as much as.
Well, you know what I'm getting at, though, right?
Yeah, but I was going to say no. We got but not as much as at this level, at least, because we had the Cranky and Matilda and Cadence and Shining Armor, but they have nothing to do. It's not even the same level of the romantic story as this one.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Feather Bangs would like to have a word with you.
Alright. Well,
Don't mention that guy next to me.
Yeah, so, I'm just going to say my positive is that it was just really cute how the interactions between Bright Mac and Pear Butter, is that her name?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Buttercup.
Pear, sorry. But it was really well done. I loved it so much. The design of the characters and the animation was beautiful, and the song. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to leave it at that for my positive.
Okay.
If I may add to your positive, this episode, when it comes to love stories, says to Cadence, Shayaimer, and Cranky Matilda, get on my level, scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did anyone else go before David did?
I passed it on to Crimson.
Okay.
And Crimson passed it off to Trixie.
Okay. Who do you pass it off to, David?
Did Little Looney go yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I was first.
Who's that? Yeah, you were
I
first.
stumbled on my words as usual.
Yeah.
Neon, pretty sure, have you gone Neon?
Yeah, like I said, I passed it on to Crimson.
Yeah,
I think
Neon
who's
went.
left is Roger, you, Kanada, and I think also Elite and Endless.
Okay. Well.
No, wait, Endless was already.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna pass it on to Kanada.
Okay, my positive for this episode is the song.
Yeah.
I've only heard this song twice, and already this is probably going to be in my top 5 favorite MLP songs of all time. And that's a big accomplishment, considering that I'm not the biggest fan of love songs. I got nothing against love songs, but that's like a genre of music that's kind of hard for me to get into compared to other genres. So for this song that I just heard twice to be in the top 5, that's probably going to be in my top 5 favorite MLP songs of all time. That's a major accomplishment for this episode and the song itself.
I'm with you. I don't like love songs.
I'm with you on that.
And that's all I have for my positives. So I'll pass it off to Elite.
Alright, go ahead, Yoshi.
Elite Yoshi, you're up next.
Who's Yoshi? Oh, wait.
Oh,
All right, I'm here. Sorry, I was downstairs. I had to get away from a bunch of people that were talking, trying to eliminate the background noise.
Alright.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Well, man. This episode, I probably haven't seen a flawless episode in the series probably since Twilight's Kingdom. I mean, for the longest... Okay, maybe that episode and, Crusaders of the Lost Mark. But, yeah, I think if there's one thing that I absolutely love is just how they managed to handle the subject matter of, with Applejack's parents with care and subtlety, because, as I, explained earlier, this was definitely a big gamble for Hasbro overall. If they had executed this in any way, whether if it was poor or not, it would have left a bad taste in the fandom's mouth. And considering past events, we all know that the fandom probably would have overreacted. It's not the first time, anyway.
Yeah, true.
However, this season actually shows that the taking a risk actually pays off, because so far the episode that actually took the risk were really good. Actually, in fact, those are one of the best episodes of the season.
Yeah,
and we are only halfway there.
I don't want to jump the gun on this, but even though we're only halfway at season 7, I'm ready to say season 7 is the best season of MLP we've ever had.
I don't know about season 4.
Agree.
Well, yeah, but
Season 5 is my best season.
Well, yeah, but if there is one thing that I think I loved is how they managed to give minor characters that we've seen before, with Mrs. Cake and Mayor. They actually gave them they actually played a huge role in the episode, because, before, we've seen these characters as only, just as parts of the plot, just minor parts before they're never seen again. Yeah, and they actually gave these characters a bit of a purpose this time. I mean, yeah, we got the backstories with Mr. and Mrs. Cake and the relationship to the parents. It makes perfect sense. I mean, if it hadn't been for them, then Applejack's parents never would have gotten married.
I loved that small touch in the episode. That was the one. I love it when the series kind of goes one step beyond the normal. It's they go one step beyond and just do stuff that none of us predicted. None of us would have ever thought that Mrs. Cake and Mayor would be involved in Applejack's story. So the fact that they found a way to add them and actually give them good and important parts into their backstory and everything, that was amazing to see.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was very
I would think they would do this with more characters.
well. You never know. They could.
Yeah, I mean they could. I'm just saying. I just wish we would get more often. I meant to say.
We probably will. You know.
Well, yeah, but you know that so far season 7 has been doing this with a lot of the characters. I mean, we got an episode that was dedicated to both Trixie and Starlight, which was completely unexpected. Flurry Heart got her own episode. Yeah, we got a few others. I mean,
yep, this is why season 7 is the season of development.
Oh yeah, and who could of course forget Celestia's episode 2?
Yeah.
Well, Celestia's got more development this season than any previous season.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Nope. That's pretty much it for my positives. So, who hasn't gone yet?
I believe it's only Max.
Wait, did Jedi go?
Yes, Daniel went.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, wait, who's the last one?
Roger.
All right.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. All right, Max Dragon, you're up.
Ow.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
My ears.
We're headphone users.
I'm sorry. I'm kidding. Okay, I do have at least a few positives, but I will go with one. William Shatner as Pear.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Trekkies are in this chat for one thing. Like, I just want to know.
Not me, but I know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the TV series, but I have seen William Shatner act in a lot of Star Wars movies. I mean, no, Star Trek. Oh, gosh, I keep forgetting. Yeah, Star Wars. Okay, Star Trek.
Trekkies are going to be mad with you.
Yeah, so I've seen Star Trek.
Don't worry. It happens to us all. It happens to some of us all the time. Like, I get confused with Starlight and Sunset all the time. I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah, okay, so...
I made that mistake.
Okay, so I like William Shatner in a way. He's a very funny person. He can act very well sometimes, but you know, he always has his standard. You know, he likes to pause when he talks. He mostly has this voice like this, but this is probably the first time he actually sounded different. Like, he really sounded different. Like, at first when I watched the episode, I'm just like, oh, this guy's really cool. I like his character. But then, as soon as the credits started coming up, I see it's William Shatner. I'm just like, what? That was William Shatner? That was William Shatner.
I was actually surprised that... Yeah, same here.
Like, that was William... I mean, I knew he was going to come, but he's playing that? He's playing him? Like, I didn't even notice.
We can probably thank the sound editors for that.
Well, to be fair, he's 86 years old.
True.
Yeah.
True.
No, but like, he sounds so different. He sounds so completely different. I never expected him to sound so different before. And he didn't even pause once.
I think we can thank the sound editors for that.
Yeah.
And he didn't pause once, and well, probably, yeah. But like, it's just so unique just to see him do a role like this. And you to think, I didn't even know he was a fan at first until like he kind of tweeted about it, and then I'm just like, oh my gosh, he just really takes his performance and just really takes it in, having funny lines, becoming a pretty dedicated father in some way, and I feel like anyone who kind of really had a split between how he treated his daughter in the end, I felt like that was kind of I felt like that was a Captain Kirk trait, because Captain Kirk makes a lot of bad decisions, and you could say that could be something that was a trait of his. So, but at the same time, about that scene, that is actually a split opinion when it comes to how people feel about it, because I've actually remembered seeing this kind of idea taken, and you know, in a way, this is kind of the point of reality. When a parent gets really upset about something, he can't just take away from that. He gets legitimately upset. You can't get that feeling out of your head. You can't like open your brain up for a solid moment and just be left. But at least he ended up. Yeah, at least he apologized by so many years. Yeah, it was so many years. But he still understood that he was just a frustrated young man who just didn't know any better. He didn't realize his daughter was in love. He didn't realize that he was hurting her in a way. Like, he just wanted to do what was best for his family. That's kind of a legitimate thing in personally. And like, I'm just like, okay, I understand people can get upset. Yeah, in a way he did something wrong. He should have just sticked with his daughter and just did the same thing how Granny Smith was so open. But at the same time, how would you feel in this reaction? How would you put yourself in the position if one of your most treasured people that you've had for so long ended up deciding to choose another family over your own family? You get upset. It's kind of like the idea when a child finally grows up and just decides to leave their parents because they knew they finally grew up. It's just a natural thing, completely normal. We can't change that, but we can have remorse in the end. Someday there will be remorse. It's not like it won't happen. Family is family. They'll always be your family, no matter what happens.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I'm coming to that topic back in my part again then.
Yeah, so basically I really love William Shatner's performance and a few other things, but that's pretty much all the positive I have for this episode. Like,
you hit upon a really hard topic for me, by the way.
Yeah.
Now for the difficult part, the negatives.
Oh, shoot. Oh, not difficult for me.
Don't want any.
The floor is yours, Roger.
Okay, I won't take too long, but how long can we take with our negatives?
About a few minutes.
Okay, I'll be as quick as possible. The romance sucks. I'm glad you all saw... I'm glad you, okay, everyone mostly says the romance was beautiful, it was emotional, they felt like really well three-dimensional characters. I'm glad you all saw that. I feel like an implosion will come. I felt like I was watching Edward and Bella just stare at each other for a half an hour.
Really?
Yes. Like, that's how I felt with it.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of hard to develop, a good relationship, like a good couple thing, within like 20 minutes. You don't have a lot of time to really develop and make an amazing relationship within that amount of time.
I'm not looking for like the best relationship.
True, this isn't a Disney movie.
I'm not looking for the best relationship. I'm looking for a believable one. That's my point. Like, the moment, okay, here's where it starts to get really, here's where I think the problem starts. We can see that they're each other as babies. They're talking to each other, saying oh, I'm not supposed to talk to you. I'm not supposed to talk to you. But then she just, oh, why don't you try to put a daisy under your chin? It glows. And the moment he's just looking at her, I'm just staring at each other and the heartbeat and stuff. I'm just no, they're going for this now. No, this is the episode I was hoping you wouldn't mess up, Hasbro. Seriously. Oh, how long have we been waiting for them to actually get to this episode and do it right? They didn't.
Well, what were you expecting?
I wasn't expecting the most best romance ever. I was expecting a believable, correct, completely natural romance. And they just went with the romance.
Exactly?
Huh?
So how
exactly? Still a better love story than Twilight.
No. Even Twilight and Timber are better than this. The problem is it didn't feel believable. We didn't get it. For one thing, I was thinking that they would probably talk about they would both talk about oh, what do you like? What do I like? Or don't we have any differences with each other? Because a believable relationship, I feel, is if the characters talk about their sometimes their things that they remembered as a kid, or things that they like to talk about. Do they have anything in connection with each other? Do they like the same things? Are they indifferent about something? Maybe they can argue about something, maybe a little bit, and then race it up where they really do fall in love with each other. That's kind of what I'm not getting in this episode.
You should also remember the fact that... Go ahead.
you do realize that all the ideas that you're saying right now will take a lot more time than what this episode would bring.
Oh, I've seen this done in many other shows perfectly, and this is probably the only episode I've seen it not done perfectly. Example.
Was it done?
Example,
Okay.
please.
Was it done in 20 minutes? Was it done
No.
in 20 minutes?
Yes, it was It was like a 22-minute episode of a show. For example, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't know if anyone remembers the episode, "The Two Lovers in the Cave." Anyone know that one?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
like I'm not saying that they imaginally they fall in love with each other, but they're connecting with each other. They talk to each other about their past. They talk to each other like how they probably feel about each other, what they like about each other. There's the arguments, but at the
You
same
do
time,
realize that
Right.
the first scene when the Pear Butter and the Bright Mag met, there was a crash, but they had this pretty much more time to develop their romance because they kind of like few years instead of few months, like in Avatar.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
but
that's why
Point.
it
no,
developed.
but even that's another problem with this episode. Like I felt like I felt like a pair of scissors just appeared and just cut years of development, from this whole entire ordeal. Like, okay, she saved her life. What else is there? Oh
Well,
yeah,
Do you realize what show we are talking about?
Well, like I said, I mean, they did not have a lot of time. It's like they kind of had to like speed things up, wrap things up in a rapid pace to make it work the way that they wanted to tell the story.
Not to mention that.
well, I'm not.
Roger,
Like I said,
if
yeah.
I may, not to mention that the entire thing was done in a flashback.
Yes.
Yeah,
and-
yeah,
From
done in-
multiple perspectives, nevertheless.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
one
you
episode
could.
in MOP that didn't was not rushed.
Yes, but here's the thing. This is the main focus of the entire episode. Yeah, they have a side where Applejack and Big Mac and Apple Bloom are trying to know about their family, but the main focus of this entire episode is the struggle between their relationship and the Apple family. And even to that extent, they get the other parts right, but the romance is just not done well. I'm not looking, like I said, not the best romance. I'm looking for a believable one. That's what I'm looking for. A believable, good romance that makes me want to care about these characters in the end. And I didn't. And even when you take the romance out of it, these characters have barely a personality. Name 5 personality traits out of these 2 characters. Name 5. I dare you.
You do realize we've just met this character, so it's kind of you've been when you met the character for the first time in 22-minute episode, it kind of hard to name 3 personality traits.
Yeah,
Especially
they're-
in
Who said that would have made
Once again.
6?
But even with that, I mean, we kind of already knew Twilight Sparkle had the things even in the first episode. I mean, yeah, she's a nerd who is very smart, but she can be kind. She can sometimes be angry. She can sometimes be happy. She gets confused about things. We got that through literally the first episode. But I got nothing out of these characters besides the point that they kind of pass things for personalities from their children, which is fine. I understand that, but at the same time, I want something new out of them. And also, I thought the song was cute, but doesn't it remind you of every single romance song you've seen in every movie ever made? Like I'm not kidding. They don't even give a description of the song. It's just like I don't even see okay, why are you in love with him? Can you tell that in the song? Nope. We just get you're a catchy song. This is a catchy song. I'm just like, oh my. Ugh.
Well, sorry if I'm so blunt in asking you this, but have you ever been in love before?
Oh, that's personal, but yes, there have been a few times. And even to that, I at least become. Oh, that's another thing. Why couldn't they just become friends first? Why couldn't it just be isn't it a good thing that you start out as friends
22 minutes
before?
episode. It's the story told by people, so they might actually change facts a little bit.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
Yeah, 22 minutes and Family Feud.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
If this was a two-parter, I think you would have more legs to stand on with this. And I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying, I think it would have been better for you if this was like a two-parter.
Well, no, I wouldn't say like a two-parter, but I think this could have been like, you know what I could have thought? This could have been actually good as an hour-long episode at least. So we
Isn't
can
that
get.
what a two-parter is, though?
Well, no, two-parters usually
Or
cut
don't
between.
know.
Two-parters usually cut between times, but okay. Like what I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying this is bad or anything. I mean, I at least got some things out of it. I'm not calling this a bad episode. Oh, far from it. I mostly think it's okay. It's like
No,
it's okay.
Okay, but
I get that.
one thing real quick. If all of this what you just all said would have been done the episode, what would we have for a possible second one?
A possible second one. Like, okay. Like, are you saying like, what would I do if I was in charge of this? Like, is that what you're trying to say?
No, I was actually saying if we had so much information on the personality traits and everything of the parents, what new and improvable would you could have and possibly give the parents in a future episode?
They would be older. They would give an explanation of why they've been gone for so long, or if they are dead, we would get at least a little explanation of how they became dead or something. I like that kind of thing. I think we came back to this like Pear trying to like see what really happened to her daughter, like that kind of thing. That would have been a second follow-up episode, I would say.
Yeah, but do you seriously need characteristics and stuff like that for this to work?
Isn't MLP very good with character development? Isn't that pretty much one of the big reasons why we watch it? Because we just love the character so much.
Okay, but
there are
how
many
but
other
how
reasons.
how many in that point? How many episodes it took for Fluttershy's current condition?
5 seasons.
So, yeah, so many episodes. But even to that, she at least had a character. She was shy, timid, and she tried to be brave sometimes. That's something.
Because she is one of the main cast.
Yes, but these are major. Okay, comparison to the other parents in the show. What do we get out of Rainbow Dash's parents? They're exciting. They care about their daughter. They really do. They do strange things when it comes to just applauding people, and they're fun.
Okay,
That's at least
debatable.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's a challenge for you. Do the same with Twilight's parents.
Do the same with Twilight's parents. Okay. Well, to
What
be
about
fair,
Rarity's parents?
Rarity's parents. To be fair, we haven't got. Okay, first off, the Twilight parent thing. We're gonna get that episode very soon. There's an episode where Twilight goes with her parents on a vacation.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
It's a synthesis, not a spoiler. Not a spoiler. It's synthesis.
Yeah, but the existence of this episode actually proves my point.
Yeah, and I think we probably should move on because we're no pun intended. We're kind of beating the dead horse here.
What I'm trying to say is, I wish it was. I'm just saying, if it was a believable relationship, I would have loved the episode more. I think I was probably the only ones who didn't cry in this episode, or one of the few who didn't cry. It's
Actually,
like,
we have a friend named Balto who didn't cry during this episode.
well, I guess I'm not alone then. But the idea is, I didn't cry or even felt anything with these characters, and so many people have said that. It's kind of like the debatable thing between the ending of Toy Story 3, if anyone knows about that.
Yeah.
Like,
I do.
yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, during that moment ending shot between the trees, am I saying that it's really sappy? Is it wrong for me to say that that was really sappy and just kind of felt too much?
No pun intended.
Yeah. Like, okay, like I said, I'm not saying that they're horrible people. I'm saying, okay, these are nice people who want to be together. But what's the reason for it? Why do they like each other? It's not just because they're indifferent between their parents. That would just be the stupidest thing ever. They have to have a reason, oh, it's because I feel like you're a smart person or you're sharp, something. Like, I'm not asking for too much. I'm asking for something, and that's not wrong. I just wish the romance was done better in most of the show, which I feel like they're really bad at, to be fair. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying the romance wasn't believable, and that's kind of the major problem I have with this episode. And
I understand where you're coming from. I understand.
Yeah, but I have my own. Yeah, but I have my own question though.
You're up next anyway.
Wasn't the romance in this episode supposed to be a take on the Romeo and Juliet trope?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I'm just the
Everyone
few
says
people
that.
who don't hate a Jew, who just doesn't like that trope. It just annoys me. I
No,
guess.
there's a problem.
That's fair.
That's understandable.
That's
I mean,
fair.
I understand. I mean, it's not for everyone.
No.
It's just because we've grown up already to the point, like, a lot of decades later, like, we have a lot of media where we've done romance so well. Like, I've seen a lot of films where romance is done so beautifully, even for such a recent film I saw. And even animation, like a bunch of cartoons, for example. Like I said, these are not canon, but like Aang and Katara from Avatar, Steven and Connie from, like, Steven Universe. Like, that's
Most Disney films.
yeah, a lot of Disney films.
True.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Mhm. Yeah.
Yoshi, you're up next.
All right. Well, I got to admit that was a pretty big negative. But
Probably the biggest negative that we were ever gonna get.
yeah. But he's probably the only one willing to talk about it, so I think it's a good thing he brought it up.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess my issue just basically what goes with how how what was his, I forget, what was his name? Grandpa Pear?
Grandpa.
Yeah, I don't like how Grandpa he literally chose the
Pear.
Yeah, sorry, you were coming in a little staticky for a sec, but I can hear you now. All right, anyway, so the thing is that I was just not a huge fan of how he literally chose the business over his own daughter. I figured he would have been happy for his daughter, but I suppose though the feud with the Pears and and then just coming out of the blue with this announcement didn't really help the situation. But
Yeah, it's
I mean, thankfully there is one thing that is. Thankfully, Grandpa does have one saving grace, though, that doesn't turn it. That he does show remorse, and you can actually tell that he's really guilty for what he did.
Yeah. Go on.
I mean, to be honest, that's the one thing that saves him. The thing is that I have
that from the get-go.
I have a huge gripe with characters that will they'll literally choose greed or their own pride and ambitions. Sorry, sorry, that was stupid.
Apparently, you're under arrest for your opinions.
No, that was. Yeah,
You cannot avoid the
I
law.
can't-
You
It's
cannot avoid
outside
the law.
noise. I can't control it. But yeah, yeah, but yeah.
Anyways, move on.
But yeah, anyway, I just cannot stand characters in any type of media who would literally go as far to the ends of the earth if they would choose their own greed, ambition, and pride over their own family. And
Well,
trust me,
to actually kind of defend Grandpa,
but
it wasn't
I
just
did
about
say the saving grace does save him. It does. The saving grace that I just mentioned saves him from being categorized as that kind of character. Trust me, I'm already aware of what you're gonna say, and I'm
No,
not
you
gonna
don't.
say that.
You're not, because I'm going in with the other way. It's not just about the business. It was about the feud with the family. He despised apples, so that was his main problem. Not the fact that her brother wasn't going with the family. It was about the fact that she was going to choose apples and side with them and be the apple. That was the problem that Grandpa had, and which
Yeah, but
takes
to
he
go as
off.
far as
Not
to
the
disown
fact
his
that
own
he.
daughter.
Yeah.
Some people get too consumed with others kind of stuff to really, think clearly, and that's what he was. That's what his mindset was at that point, He was, too consumed to think straight, and he was probably angry for like years.
Oh boy, Kanata, you have no idea how
Trust-
correct you are on that point.
Yeah, you are right on that. But
Yeah.
like I said,
Uh-huh.
his remorsefulness does save him. Does save him from being, at least in my eyes, because believe me, I've seen other characters from other shows that have done that, and I've gone on to hate them with a passion. Mr. Krabs. Sorry.
Again,
Yeah,
it's not the hatred, it's more about the not the greed, it's more about the almost hatred to apples.
Exactly. So yeah, he's nowhere near that level of those types of characters that I hate.
True. Kanata?
I don't have any negatives for this episode.
We're probably gonna get used to that.
Yeah. That's pretty rare for me because I try to find any negative, big, small. I try to find any negative so I can bring up anything, but I can't think of any negatives at all for this episode.
Alright, David?
Okay, so it's my turn now.
Yes.
Wow. How do I top all of this?
Well,
You
it's
can
not
do it,
about
buddy.
topping. It's about what you personally think.
I personally think, yes. I thought my negative is that I thought Grand Pear was a little bit selfish at first.
So
Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah, and but that's what my gripe was, that he was very selfish and he didn't think about the daughter first. I was just like, why would you do that? I know you have a business, I understand that, but your family always should at least a little bit come first. To think about that.
To think about that, he actually was for thinking about his family, because this is a family business. So one family member against the rest of the family. So it is even if that was a daughter, it is hard to choose, to be honest.
It is. It's such a hard situation.
That's true.
So in the end, picking the rest of the family is like, I had to say this, the greater good.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, that was only my negative. The rest of the episode was just fantastic, well meshed together. So yeah.
Alright, Crimson?
Yo.
Negatives?
Nah, I'm passing.
Alright,
What a
Leon?
twist.
Well, sorry if
At this point, I'm not surprised.
Sorry if that sounds a little bit blunt, Crimson, but I'm kind of happy that you're passing now because I'm not sure if I can keep it in for any longer right now.
I don't have any negatives anyway, so what's the point?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Mine's only a nitpick, so go ahead.
Well, for me, it doesn't really has to do something with the episode itself. Well, kinda. It's more like that the episode is kinda open up an old wound in me.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And this goes a little bit into the points which you others said as well. And it's actually about my dad. My parents actually had gone part ways almost six to 7 years ago now, and I was actually trying to keep contact with him, and well,
that word is literally slime. Like it's apple slime.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, actually, it wasn't the best result, so to speak. It even goes out to my 80th birthday that I literally just called my dad the worst things I ever possibly had think of because he was such, sorry for the bad words now, that it was such an idiot to say that I'm still not capable of living on my own, because now I'm 18 and I would still be hiding behind my mom. And I even made up a promise with him so we could somehow fix it, that we at least talk on the phone every week, at least once. And if we would talk about the weather, I don't know, anything. I tried that 30 times. 12 times he didn't call back, even though he promised it.
Wow.
You get all my sympathies, buddy.
Yeah,
Wow.
so right before I was finished with my application, with my job training, and I was about to move with my mom to North Rhine-Westphalia, where I'm living right now. I decided to just visit him out of the blue and literally have him forced to speak about this. And the hard thing was, it was kind of like this. I was just running into his home, into the living room, and just like speak with him, like, I cannot believe you actually keep that promise. That something like that. And I slammed my hand on the couch table. And in all this paper, which was lying there because I didn't pay attention first, there was first a letter of the local hospital that my dad was actually diagnosed with cancer in the last state, and that was kind of like the agreement for the chemotherapy and everything, that he would have been get the treatments, and his last will. And the thing was, nobody in the family actually knew that he had cancer. No one, not even his sister.
That's rough.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
I just was completely out of this, and I just ran out of the room, and then was actually the worst part of that. When I was running to the staircase, he just yelled at me, "If you want to have any sense from my last will, then you turn around right now."
Oh man.
Oh.
He actually cared more about the money he was leaving behind, instead of at least make it up with me. And I was actually the one who was trying it.
That's rough.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really sorry for you, man.
I did turn around. And then he said something like, "It's great that you come to his sense," or something. I don't know. I didn't even let him finish, because I gave him the biggest uppercut that even Ryu from Street Fighter would appreciate that one. And almost knocked him out by that. And I kinda punished him for that I actually said, "I will keep it a secret from everyone, but you will have to deal with it even if you die."
No.
So yeah. Actually, I kinda saw a same reaction in him as well as my father did. So I kinda have to defend Grandpa Pear for a second, even if it sounds ludicrous.
That sucks for you, Nina. Yeah.
And that's why I actually say that the opening or the speculation of the current state of Applejack's parents is the best thing, because life can go the craziest thing indeed. I mean, heck, if I haven't go through all this right now, I wouldn't be sitting with you guys.
Yeah.
Back to the reason why I'm so associate myself with Starlight. You know about this, Sven. And well, that's the reason why I can't actually give it as a bad point too, because it actually captured this. Because I know it from a personal level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that happened, Neon.
Hey, it's okay. Sometimes even life gives you the strangest way to think about your past. even
Yeah.
though you can't change it.
It's unspeakable.
It is.
It's very understandable.
And heck, even though this happened to me, I wouldn't give it up for anything. Even if I could travel back in time, I wouldn't do it.
Aw.
Well, I know it's too soon to make this joke, but too bad we don't have a TARDIS, an actual one.
Well,
We can't change the past, but we can make sure that the future will be better.
Exactly.
this is
Exactly,
why
that's a
I actually made this as a somewhat as a catchphrase for my OC as well.
Mm.
Past is the iron which we can forge the shield to protect the future.
Wow.
And it could have
Well
been
said.
That's really
very
well done.
said.
I love that.
And here's
And that's-
a quote from my OC saying, "Live the life to the fullest for all the time that you have."
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm,
Each day is a blessing.
Indeed.
yeah.
Sorry to came up with that topic, but
No,
I
no,
just
it's
had to
okay.
get
It's
it
okay.
off my
It's
chest.
fine.
No,
It's fine.
no need to apologize.
We all needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Just keep moving forward, my friend.
Alright,
That's all we can do.
alright, anything else, Neon?
No, that would be all.
Alright, Endless?
Okay. Well, I will agree that the pairing might be a tiny bit cliche, like there wasn't much different going on, like it's your typical love story.
Okay.
But, yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Okay.
Okay.
It's okay, Andy.
Yeah.
It's okay, Endless.
Alright, my
Not
turn now. My turn now. Negatives about this episode. Honestly, I got nothing. I got nothing on the negatives. And we have a late arrival here. We are Fluttershy, Violet Bloom.
Hey guys, I'm
Hey, Violet.
super duper sorry that I am late.
Hey,
No, it's
no,
alright.
No need. It's okay.
Better late than never.
Yeah,
No need to apologize.
Mm,
Yeah,
we welcome you.
better late than never.
well, I'm kind of glad that you joined now, and not when I was making my statement.
So, Violet Bloom, when you're ready, since I got nothing on negative, so whenever you're ready, Violet, you can address your positive and negative.
Honestly, I don't have a negative besides the fact that I want to hear more. As
Or
for
anyone else who
positive,
has a negative.
as for my positive, I have to say it's the song.
Oh yeah.
I mean, seriously, that song has got to be one of the best from the season, if not the entire series.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. In terms of the song itself and its emotional impact, definitely. But I guess memorable, debatable. At least
Let
on
me
my
put it
end.
this way. I think many serious couples in the Brony community that are some sort of doing the content, they will probably be singing those songs
Probably.
for like the anniversaries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case.
Same.
Yeah.
I kind of saw one case already.
It is one of those songs that you can always sing to your loved one if you wanted to.
I can easily picture Taka singing that to Finn.
Oh,
Yeah.
Actually, she already did.
Oh, it's
Oh.
okay. So that makes two cases.
There we go.
Alright, you got anything else, Violet?
Nah, that's it.
Okay. Daniel, what's your negative?
I got nothing. This episode was just perfect. So I got nothing.
Oh, that's perfect, right in the title.
Perfect pair.
Good shot.
What, me?
Yeah.
Okay, to be actually, I also don't have negative because Grandpair, what a little she mentioned about Grandpair, I already explained that. Or the Max Dragon about the love from the first upon first meeting is not believable. Do you know Steve Irwin actually that was that's the case when he met his future wife. That was they immediately fall in love upon the first meeting. So then this kind of situation is believable. I also had the nitpick on the that to the fact that the Apple Bloom's special talent is no longer special because that's something she inherited from her mother. But it's actually growing up on me because
That's something
let's face it,
that's something I don't quite understand right there.
But face it, how many of us actually can tell that we inherit some character traits from our parents?
Yeah.
I, for example, can name. I'm still talking. For example, I will say that shamelessly that I can like a father. I can solve some problems in the practical way, but he can be a little nervous at the times, and that's when my mother side came. When in that case I can keep calm head and look on the problem from the outside and find a solution. So I don't know if it's understandable, but I hope you got my point. So, like I said, if saying that the Apple Bloom inherited the talent to help others with finding their purpose in life would actually be kind of like hypocritical from my side, seeing that pretty much I've built my character on that aspect. So yeah, basically I have no negatives.
Alright. Looney?
I would like to continue off something that Sharp Wit just said about Apple Bloom. If she inherited her special talent from her mother, then how can Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle also share the same talent?
Maybe Apple Bloom. Maybe the talent that Apple Bloom had kind of rubbed off onto them.
Besides, MOP have history of characters inheriting the talents from their parents. Just look at the apples.
Yeah, but Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle have the same talent as Apple Bloom, and
It's
they're
not the rule. It's the most possible outcome, but it's not the rule.
True.
Either way, I don't really have a negative for this episode. No surprise there.
So nothing from you either. Okay.
Nope.
Alright, unfortunately, Max Dragon had to leave early, but he already gave out the rating for the episode. The rating he gave it was a 2 out of 5. He doesn't hate the episode, but he just found the episode was just okay in his eyes.
Well, that's the worst I've heard
Alright.
of someone said about the episode.
Okay, Venom. Before you go on, I have the proposition. Sound off those who are not giving this episode 5 out of 5.
Anyone?
I'm gonna give it like a 4 out of 5. I don't know.
Okay. 4 out of 5 for Endless. Anyone else? Well, the rest of us give you 5 out of 5s.
Definitely 5 out of 5.
5
out of 5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Sorry
Same.
if I'm silent.
I'd give it 10 out of 5 if I could.
The only small issue I can see anybody having is like the whole the whole love story and how predictable that can be. But sometimes being predictable can be a good thing.
And let's face it, those stories are not that far from life. I'm sure that that kind of story can happen in real life.
Yes.
Alright, so... No, I'm not even gonna give like show 5 out of 5 because basically I'm only showing the ones who have given a different rating because it's kind of unanimous at this point. But that said though, about the group rating for the perfect pair is actually not a 5 out of 5.
What?
Gasp.
Oh.
Because of that 2 out of 5.
Okay, who had to hurt?
It's a 4.5
I've
out of
fallen to
5.
a fainting couch.
Wait, what was the
Turns
lowest?
invisible.
The lowest is a 2.
And that kind of broke the score.
Well, Roger, I hope you have a good bunker near your house.
Well then,
Hey, who gave it the 2 rating?
it was Max Dragon.
Max Dragon.
Roger.
Yep.
So anyways, but that being said
Roger,
though,
Roger.
but I'll say this though. Before we go, I'll say this one more thing. I've been debating for a little while, ever since I first saw this episode, I've been debating whether or not this would be my favorite, because I love pretty much everything about this. The animation, the lore behind the parents, the song, I even like the romance stuff, I thought it was very cute. I like how all the secondary characters like Mrs. Cake and Mayor were involved. I love William Shatner's performance. I also love Bruce Day's performance as Pear Butter. I really cannot say anything wrong about this. I really can't. That really doesn't happen to me. I mean, I can point out some flaws and everything. I can point out nitpicks and everything like that. If nitpicks, even the nitpicks themselves doesn't impact me, it's not worth mentioning to me. So I think yeah, I might as well say this right now. Pinkie Pride, I still hold you a special place in my heart, but you have been dethroned. The Perfect Pair, I can safely say, is my favorite episode of the entire series.
Not to mention, this episode won me not by the epic action, but by actually wrenching my heart.
Exactly.
Bristle's wondering if you could turn off your mic.
So anyways, we're about to end this right now. So.
Okay.
Alright. So. Yeah, kind of rusty at this. I've been going on and off here. So tune in next time, and which might be a doozy. Because, well, first off, I don't think anything can top this one. Even though I said that.
Unless it's the season finale.
I'm glad the Discord episode. I'm glad the Discord episode was before this episode, because if I saw this episode first and then I saw the Discord episode, I probably may not have given it the high rating that I gave it for this Discord episode.
Yeah, I think the staff knew what they were doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's agreeable.
Alright, so, tune in next time where we will cover fame and misfortune.
No.
And let's just say, well, I'll keep that a secret for next time.
I think we should. So, until this... So basically...
None of us have seen this episode, I believe.
So that's it. We'll see you all next time. Peace.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Bye.
Make sure to
Go
keep
ahead.
a fire lit in your heart. It'll make you smile.